Okay, so I was going through my highlighters and I wanted to kind of break them apart. This is my high-end collection, and then I have a drugstore collection over here, but I wanted to kind of go through, since highlighters are so trendy right now, I wanted to go over that. If you look on YouTube, Instagram, everything, it's all about the glow, and these are my tops that I use, that I have a variety, so I can use pretty much on every different skin type and tone. Being a makeup artist, I have to have a variety in every collection, so I can fit any type of client that I have that sits in my chair. But nowadays, my high-end collection is smaller than my drugstore collection because they're so comparable now, which is wonderful for everyone else who's the consumer that doesn't have to spend. And these are my top favorites. These are in my opinion, worth the splurge for sure, but you don't need to anymore, and I'm going to show you those next. Let me walk you through some of my favorites. So this is Becca. Becca makes amazing highlighters. They're kind of known for that. So this is Becca and Champagne Pop, and this is the Jaclyn Hill one that was created. Obviously, this is a very loved highlighter. It's probably not going to work for me, but it actually does. If you use a very light hand, it does work, and it's stunning. So I'll show you a swatch next. My camera's not really wanting to focus, but you can see right there. I like to mix this one with a lighter one too, so if you are fair, you can still use this, but they're so buttery and creamy, and they have all different shade ranges too, so that's definitely a great one to check out. This one is Urban Decay in the shade Sin. This is their Afterglow highlighters. This one is beautiful too. This one's definitely more suited for fairer skin tones, but it's just a beautiful, super creamy highlighter. Again, this doesn't emphasize your texture at all. It's really just going to like seep into your skin and just look like a glow from within. So I definitely recommend this one for sure. Love it. Next we have Mally, which this is actually a kit that I got. It was with a blush. This is Stardust. This one is definitely more gold, so if you're super fair, this one you're going to probably see it on your skin more. But this is another very, very pretty, from like medium olive tone skin tone to even dark and mocha skin tones too. It's just absolutely stunning. And again, this super creamy formula, and it does a beautiful job blending into the skin as well. Next, we're going to go to Laura Geller, and this is her Gilded Honey one, which is a very popular one. Probably have heard of it if you watch any YouTube videos at all. And this is it. In my opinion, I think this highlighter is like $36 or $38, something like that, or maybe it's $20. I'll have to look at that and find out for you guys. But I think the packaging is kind of silly for this. I mean, if you look at the other ones I've shown you, they're all in the same price range, and packaging is much prettier. I don't get this, nor do I really like it. I'm such a packaging person that I don't know. Anyway, especially when you're paying for high-end products, I feel like it should be required, but what do I know? So this is another really pretty one. Again, for deeper skin tones for sure. This on my skin would show up yellow and too harsh. But again, if you're tan or even darker than that and have beautiful mocha undertones, and this would be beautiful on you. This is the Too Faced let's see, Love Light, Ray of Light color. And this is more of like a peachy shade, which is beautiful for like some tan skin, like lighter, a little bit lighter skin tones. If you're darker, it might show up a little bit chalky. I love this. I do love this one. It's got a peachy undertone. It's beautiful if you've got like a nice subtle glow or tan skin. Really pretty. Again, this one on me, I'd probably have to mix it with a lighter highlight just to kind of make it look less peachy or gold. Sometimes on my fair skin, that's how things tend to show up, so I have to be kind of careful, but this one is beautiful. Next, we have the Stardust powders by Starlit powder, excuse me, number 13 by Makeup Forever. And these are in pots with like a little hole right there and a dot. I don't know where I got cut off, but a dot goes a long way with this guy. So if you tap out just a little bit here, let me swatch this for you. This one is absolutely stunning to mix in with other, I put this on top of highlighters. Like I'll mix this in with Champagne to kind of get like my perfect custom shade. So usually I'll do a little bit of this and top it off with this to kind of tone down the golden tones. But you can also use this wet and really get a really pretty Next look. We have, these are different. These are liquid highlighters. This is Cover FX Custom Enhancer Drops. This is beautiful. I mix this in with my foundation, or I put this on my skin after my primer if I'm really going for like a luminous glowy skin. And when I prime with my face, when I do this or add it in my foundation, I kind of look like the Tin Man for a minute, but once you finish your makeup, it looks absolutely perfect, and I love these mixed in my foundation. It doesn't break down my foundation or anything like that, and it's just like a nice add-in. Or you can use these on the skin as a highlighter, but just in liquid form, and you'd want to make sure you apply these liquid drops, not really over powder. You want to make sure you do these before you set your face. So for example, you do your moisturizer, your primer, foundation, concealer, then you would go in with your cream prior than setting your face. So then you would go in with your highlighter if you had a cream contour or a blush, whatever the case may be. You want to do these first, first, and then you'll set your face, and then you can even add a little bit of highlight on top of this to just really top it off. This gives a good base, just like contouring with a cream gives a good base to powder products. The same with this. It'll just enhance the longevity of your makeup. So I definitely love that one. They're pricey, but again, a drop goes a long way, and I'm not going to run out of it. I just put a drop in my hand and spread it out, and a little goes a long way, obviously. But I love adding this into my foundations and mix them together and then apply them to my face, or using it as a liquid highlighter on your cheeks, or even using it on your collarbones or your shoulders to make highlighted and sun-kissed. So I absolutely love this. They have more shades of this too, so I use this Celestial one just because I'm fair. They have some other ones that are like more bronzy and golden that if you have darker skin than I do, I highly recommend as highlighters. And last but not least, this is the Anastasia Glow Kit, and she's got a couple of these out, and I highly recommend these, especially if you're a makeup artist or just a makeup enthusiast for that matter, or if your skin tone changes from light to dark or dark to light, and it gives you more options, and it also gives you, it's also more for your money. So I love this because they're also, as a makeup artist, these pop out. And these can go in my magnetic palette too, so you can customize them. So if I'm traveling, I can just take, say I want this one to come with me, I can put this in my Z palette or any magnetic kit that I have, pop it in there along with other things, and I don't have to bring this whole thing with me. But as a makeup artist too, for the same thing, I like having a whole glow kit that's going to complement all skin ranges. So many like miscellaneous and loose products, and they're so delicate in my makeup bag with me when I'm on taking clients. So this one is a beautiful, beautiful palette. So these are all of them swatched, and obviously, as you can see, they just complement every skin tone. I love mixing these two together. They're stunning. But I can even use this one when I'm more fair too. But I love this palette, and the formula is amazing. So as you can see, my collection here is a lot more. I do have some palette ones too that I wanted to mention just because of the price, and it's just a really good bang for your buck. These are all ones you can find at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, and online. There's one brand, actually ColourPop is now sold in Ulta, but this is, I don't know if they have the entire line there yet, but this is from ColourPop. This is an indie brand online. Amazing, super affordable. I think it's like $6 for their Super Shock. Or this is Flexitarian Super Shock Cheek. And obviously, as you can see, that one is just a stunning highlight. And that is from, like I said, ColourPop. And they are being sold at Ulta now. I don't know if they carry everything, but you can go on ColourPop.com and order from there. And they have amazing products. Next, we have Wet n Wild, which is that one you saw me return today. Not this one, but like another one I tried out today. Because usually I can buy these and they're like $5. The Wet n Wild highlights. And they're a hit every time, except for that one I posted earlier. I don't know what happened. It was literally like chalk, and it had like purple undertones. It was awful. Anyway, usually Wet n Wild is super reliable, but this is the Wet n Wild to reflect. Why aren't you focusing? Boozy Brunch, and this one actually, I think that this one is like Champagne Pop. Yeah, like the Becca one. And this is actually very beautiful on the skin. It's kind of, I would say this one's a dupe almost for the Becca Champagne Pop highlighter. So instead of $38, you could get one for $6 or $7, which is Boozy Brunch by Wet n Wild. This one's from Physicians Formula. They have a brick ones too that are beautiful highlighters, but this is the, let's see here, Powder Palette Mineral Glow Pearls. And this one is pretty if you want a super natural light finish. You could almost set your face with this. Take your powder brush and kind of rub in here and dab off the excess, and just let the skin, this would give the skin like a beautiful pearl finish with not looking too glowy. So this one's great if you're more like going for a natural look with a pretty skin-like finish. This is by Wet n Wild. This is the Mega Glow Highlighter Powder in Precious Petals. And it's more like a goldy with like a hint of rose gold to it. And this is a beautiful highlighter too that sits very nicely on the skin and doesn't enhance your texture. Okay, NYX. This one is Ritualistic, and this is great for like super fair skin tones like me, or lighter than me if that's possible. But this one is very pretty. I do recommend this for super fair clients. Then you have the Master Chrome ones by Maybelline. So let's do these. So these beauties right here are absolutely amazing. The formula on these is perfection. So obviously this one's gold, and this one is a rose gold. This one I suggest for skin tones that are fair like me, all the way to golden brown, but anything darker than that, this one is like a showstopper for that. It's stunning. And the formula is so creamy, but look at how pigmented that is. It's stunning. Then you have this one right here that is just absolutely gorgeous too. Both melt into the skin and just give you a really beautiful, stunning highlight. So I highly recommend these two guys for sure. Now I have a Milani one, which Milani makes a lot of great products. They are found in the drugstore. Let me see here. So this one's a beautiful one too, a little bit more on the subtle side, which is beautiful because for more of like a natural look, you just apply this to the high points of your cheeks. It would just give like a radiant glow. So I love this one by Milani, and this one is Afterglow. They're strobe lighting powders. Then we have Makeup Revolution, which is, I think, I know for sure I got this one at Ulta. But this one is like, Makeup Revolution products are usually really good. This one is stunning. This one is definitely for super fair, fair girls, for sure. And unlike most fair, like usually there's not gold reflex in fair just because gold doesn't really sit nicely or complement super fair skin tones on the face for that matter. But this one does, and it's just beautiful. Like I can wear this one and I don't have any problems. If you're any darker than me, then I would say no to this, but they do have a peach one and like more of a bronzy one that are beautiful, but the formula is perfect. So if there's just another color that you prefer, if your skin tone's darker than mine, then definitely I recommend this formula. Elf. Oh, Elf. See, this is the packaging that that the Laura Geller one has. This is Elf. This is like $6. The Laura Geller one is like $36. So this is what I'm talking about, packaging. Oh. Anyway, this is a baked highlighter. And Elf did a beautiful job with this one. This one sits on the skin beautifully, and it looks darker on camera for some reason, but in person, this is beautiful on the skin. And oh my gosh, does it even have Blush Gems is the name of this one. When you apply it to the face, is a beautiful glow. My sister Taylor, who always rocks this highlighter, and it looks stunning on her, and it always, even though I bought it for her, I'm like, oh, what highlighter is that? And she's like, it's the Elf one you got me. So I recommend this guy. Then you have Profusion, which is that contour palette that I just tried out, that same brand. They have this highlight and contour palette, and I'm not gonna lie, this is amazing. Like super powdery, as you can see here, but for the price of this, you get a lot for your money. So this is a beautiful contour shade, and then all these highlighters are like, that looks a little grainy right now, but on the skin it melts right in. And so whenever you have a highlighter that a lot of pickup and kind of looks a little bit grainy, but it's creamy still, what you can do is after you apply it to your face, you can spray a setting powder, or you can just take your beauty blender and go over top of it, and the beauty blender with the sponge or the setting powder will just melt it into the skin. Go from looking powdery to just a stunning glow. So again, I highly recommend this brand and this palette because I mean, you get a lot of bang for your buck in this. Then the Carly Bible palette. I don't know if she sells the small one anymore. She might just sell the deluxe one. Obviously not just a highlighter. This is shadows, but her shadows are stunning. If you can get your hands on the deluxe one, I think it's only $22. The shadows are so worth every penny. They're so pigmented. They blend beautifully. The shimmers are great, but her highlighters are, obviously this one has seen better days, but this one is stunning, and all of them are. I mean, these products are just, I'm so impressed. She did such a great job with her palette. This is, again, the smaller one. This is the one that first came out. Then you can only get the deluxe ones now, but it's still $22, and you get a whole nother row now of even more and bigger highlighters than just this. And every bit of this, you guys, is so worth it. Like, this is every day. You can do so many looks with this. I love palettes that are like this because you can travel. Like, I could just take this whole thing with me. It even comes with a mirror, which most palettes don't even do that. Some of the Kylie Cosmetics ones didn't even come with that, and they're so much more expensive. But BH Cosmetics is a great brand and product quality makeup for super affordable pricing, so I highly recommend that. And the last but not least is Sleek Cosmetics, which is now not just, it used to just be in Europe, I believe, but now is in Ulta. And this little guy was on YouTube for a long time. Super popular. You get a cream over here, which I honestly don't use. I don't really care for cream that much unless it's mixed into my foundation. But, I mean, if you like cream highlighters, it's not a bad one. But then you get these other powders. These colors look a little bit weird, but these highlighters are freaking gorgeous. Like, blinding. So if you love, like, a blinding highlight, highly recommend this right here. I think this is $15 for this whole thing. So I know that was a lot to cover, but I wanted to break it down for high-end and drugstore, obviously, and I hope that you could hear me and like the pictures and stuff. You'll be able to kind of see which ones you want and know the shades that they are, but if you don't, feel free to message me. I'd love to answer any questions you have. And obviously these aren't like, if I don't have them, that doesn't mean that they're not good. These are just the ones that I've been able to try so far and get my hands on, and the ones that are, there's people make so many highlighters now that it's, a little overwhelming. So I wanted to take the guessing work out of it instead of you having to buy a ton of them and then not knowing if they're good or not. I wanted you to see what I've used and tested out myself, what I do recommend to my clients and what I use on my clients. So yeah, these are just a few options for you.